Jessie and Gerald Burlingame prepped for a wedding escape, but Gerald's packing choice raised eyebrows. A pair of handcuffs nestled among socks and shirts. The adventure begins with Jessie enjoying the scenic drive until Gerald's wandering hand turns it into an awkward car seat game swiftly halted by Jessie's disinterest. Their journey takes a darkly humorous turn when they encounter a dog feasting on roadkill, prompting Gerald's frustrated honking. Despite the oddity, Jessie notices the dog's collar, hinting at an owner. Arriving at their countryside retreat, Jessie discovers a stocked fridge, including meat perfect for a hungry hound. Meanwhile, Gerald sneaks off to the bathroom for a little boost from Viagra, setting the stage for a weekend filled with unexpected twists and turns. As Jessie settles into a suggestive nightgown ready for a romantic evening with Gerald, he interrupts her moment of allure with a call, causing the dog to bolt in fear. Gerald balks at the idea of giving expensive meat to the dog, but they brush it off with laughter as they head inside ready for some fun. In the bedroom, Jessie tries to strike a seductive pose while Gerald questions her readiness from the bathroom. Emerging with a pair of handcuffs, Gerald convinces Jessie to give them a try, despite her skepticism. Cuffing her to the bed, he pops another Viagra, much to Jessie's discomfort. As Gerald leans in, he urges Jessie to pretend to call for help, but her uneasiness grows. When Gerald's fantasy takes a wild turn, Jessie finally speaks up, demanding he stop. Annoyed, Gerald questions Jessie's reluctance, wondering why she bothered to come if she wasn't up for some fun. In a desperate attempt to salvage their crumbling relationship, Gerald insists they need to try to make things better, but Jessie refuses to partake in his disturbing sexual assault fantasy just to appease her. She bravely voices her discomfort with Gerald's dark desires, urging him to confront the root of his fantasies. Ignoring Jessie's plea for openness, Gerald grows defensive and shifts the blame onto himself, lamenting his supposed inability to satisfy her. Jessie tries to soothe him, urging him to communicate openly, but Gerald's response is chilling. He hovers over her with a menacing glare, ignoring her pleas. Fear grips Jessie as her husband attempts to force himself on her, pushing his violent fantasy to its breaking point. In a fit of rage, Gerald bites his lip and retreats, his emotions spiraling out of control. But suddenly, his demeanor shifts, and Jessie senses something is terribly wrong. As Gerald struggles for breath, Jessie's panic mounts, but she's unable to help him. Trapped in handcuffs, she can only watch in horror as Gerald collapses on top of her. Initially mistaking his distress for a joke, Jessie's fear escalates as she realizes the severity of the situation. Desperate, she pushes his body away with her legs, hoping for a glimpse of hope in the darkness of their crumbling relationship. As Gerald's body hits the floor, Jessie's cries for help go unheard in this secluded house. Suddenly, footsteps approach, but it's only the hungry dog now attacking Gerald's corpse. Jessie's relief turns to confusion as Gerald wakes up, blaming her for the dog's bite. She realizes he's a hallucination, sending her spiraling into a mental breakdown. Freeing herself from the cuffs, Jessie remains trapped in her nightmare, her reflection a cruel reminder of her ordeal. As the hallucinations of Gerald and Jessie converse, urging her to take action, Jessie struggles with dehydration and weakness. Spotting water on a nearby shelf, she uses a card to reach it, finally quenching her thirst. Exhausted, she drifts into sleep, only to be jolted awake by approaching footsteps. Convinced it's a ghost, she seeks solace in her imaginary companions, while memories of her childhood resurface. A poignant moment by the lake with her family, a father's comforting presence during a solar eclipse. In a haunting realization, Jessie recalls her father's betrayal during a childhood incident, leaving her deeply scarred and silent. Confronted by her imaginary Gerald about her silence, Jessie admits her fear of revealing her secrets. As they talk, Jessie dismisses the notion of the dog's departure as imaginary, closing her eyes to revisit her traumatic past. In her dream, her father manipulates her into silence, using the relationship as leverage. This dark memory explains Jessie's enduring silence about the incident. Abruptly, Jessie wakes to the sharp pain of the dog biting her leg, snapping her back to the grim reality of her present predicament. As Jessie struggles with the dog and hallucinations, memories of her past trauma flood back. She confronts her younger self, apologizing for the pain endured. Awakening to reality, Jessie hatches a risky plan involving a shard of glass. While Gerald sees potential, imaginary Jessie warns of the pain ahead. Despite Gerald's final warning, Jessie knows she's out of options. Imaginary Jessie advises her to visualize each step carefully. Summoning all her courage, Jessie takes a deep breath and shakily reaches for the glass on the shelf. With deliberate precision, she breaks it against the plank, then slowly starts cutting her wrist, enduring excruciating pain. Her determination unwavering, she persists until her hand slips free from the handcuff, though not without leaving her skin behind. With no time to waste, Jessie reaches for her phone only to find it dead. Undeterred, she stretches for the car key, her wounded hand making it a Herculean task. But with sheer determination, she manages to grasp it and releases her other hand from its restraint. With a sigh of relief, Jessie tends to her wounds at the sink, the physical pain a testament to her newfound freedom. After quenching her thirst, Jessie chokes on tap water, battling unbearable pain and exhaustion. Collapsing into fitful sleep, she is jolted awake by the dog's biting. Facing Gerald's decaying corpse, she encounters the feared ghostly figure. Offering her wedding ring, she drives away in silence, haunted by Gerald's final farewell. As Jessie continues to drive, the unbearable pain in her hand and exhaustion from her ordeal causes her to doze off, resulting in a car crash into a nearby tree. The noise alerts people from a nearby house, and as their lights flicker on, Jessie sees a glimmer of hope for survival. Despite her injuries, including a busted open head and blood dripping down her face, she remains conscious and honks the car horn to signal for help. Eventually, someone approaches the car with a flashlight, but the scene fades to Jessie in her office. Still shaken, she struggles to write with her wounded hand still gloved. The doctors confirm Gerald's death as a heart attack, and Jessie receives her insurance money, seemingly returning to her normal life. Yet, every night she's haunted by memories of her captivity and the unanswered question of her missing wedding ring. Did she really give it to a ghost? Or was it lost in the chaos? The question lingers, unanswered by both investigators and Jessie herself. Jessie finds solace in helping others heal from trauma through a foundation, but her own wounds remain raw. As she continues to revisit the lake house, the nights stretch endlessly, plagued by haunting memories. 6 months later, a chilling headline catches Jessie's eye. A man named Raymond Joubert, a serial killer infamous for mutilating corpses and collecting their jewelry. Suffering from acromegaly, a rare disease causing body part enlargement, Joubert's atrocities shocked the community. Police discovered the remains of his sister and her husband, whom he referred to as Mommy and Daddy, skinned and dismembered, their body parts preserved in containers. The grotesque details of Joubert's crimes underscore the darkness lurking in the world, a grim reminder of the horrors Jessie narrowly escaped. In a chilling revelation, it's revealed that the ghost Jessie encountered was actually Joubert himself. Despite having the opportunity to kill her, he spared her life. Now, at Joubert's court hearing, he remains silent until Jessie confronts him face to face. In a surreal moment, Jessie sees not just Joubert, but also her father and her husband in his gaze. With newfound courage, she boldly declares that Joubert appears much smaller than she remembers, confronting her fears head-on. Walking out of the courtroom with confidence, Jessie finally confronts the demons of her past and finds closure.